Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 613. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Zellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. This week, we're covering Geometry Wars Retro Evolved 2 for the Xbox 360. Uh, our weekly show where we look at one video game at a time, discuss our time with it, and then rank it on a list that we call the list. You can follow along with the list at thefreecheese.com/the list and see all 140 video games we've ranked thus far. One more will be added on this episode. Before we dive into Geometry Wars 2, as I will call it from here on out, Matt, what's your go-to arcade game? What's the type of game you gravitate towards? I think I know your answer, but
I feel like it changes every time you ask this
oh,
question. I don't know. I have to think it depends era and which one. I want to say like old school is Galaga. I'm not good at it.
right, there you go.
Not good at it, but
Yeah,
I will lose a couple lives in a Galaga. I don't mind a Blitz machine.
man, Blitz is so good.
I'm trying to think like newer, like in the Dave and Buster's era. What I would like. Obviously, that Bomberman game is a good one.
Yeah, definitely the Bomberman game rules. If you can get that one, it's a good time.
Um, I don't know. I don't know how good the newest of new House of Dead games are, but like I can take a light gun and shoot
Yeah,
some
dude.
House of Dead things of like that. Not just House of Dead, but a lot of Time Crisis. That I'm gonna say there is a one
Time
here I'm
Crisis.
thinking of, but yeah, Time Crisis is like the light gun pinnacle for me.
Yeah, I haven't played a good one of those in a long time. Does that arcade up the street from us have a gun game like that? Yeah, I mean they have that House of the Dead
They
one,
have the House of
right?
Dead, yeah, yeah. That was alright
We should.
for the few quarters. Well, quarters, air quotes.
Yeah. The card swipes. Um,
Bomberman.
I Bomberman for sure. That's the one. I never liked it when I was young, but the older I've gotten, the more I go to Donkey Kong for it. Uh, Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, etc. I think is still solid. Like I that reminds me, I need to buy Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 while it's on sale still, I think. I don't know. Just all that I love that kind of experience, and revisiting Geometry Wars reminded me of how fun little arcade games are. I don't mean to be demeaning with little, but like just that core gameplay experience of just like, here's the thing, there's not going to be a ton more you need to do, but like you can just kind of return to this thing indefinitely. Um, love that experience. And it's something that I think Geometry Wars does well, and I think Xbox Live Arcade did very well too. Let's dive into it. Geometry Wars Retro Evolved 2, developed by Bizarre Creations, published by Microsoft Game Studios and Activision, released on the Xbox 360 July 30th, 2008. There's no back of the box because this was an arcade experience. Um, but the official description from Xbox.com reads, experience an unbelievable adrenaline rush from playing the latest version of the frenetic retro shooter Geometry Wars Retro Evolved 2. Newcomers and pros alike will be blown away by the screen melting intensity and insane new features, including 6 action packed gameplay modes, new enemies, new scoring strategies, and a diverse list of exciting achievements. If that's not crazy enough for you, try multiplayer mayhem for up to 4 players. Use power ups in versus mode to boost your stats or handicap your opponent, or team up with others in co op mode. Play it all in razor sharp 1080p to new pulse pounding music. And there's Geometry Wars. Geometry Wars, do you know, Matt, which video game it first debuted in?
No idea.
So this was Bizarre Creations. Do you remember Bizarre Creations?
Not ringing a bell.
I feel. Hold on. I need to make sure I'm not crazy.
I can click around. I have the Wikipedia is right here.
No, I am crazy. It's not. I think there might be some DNA shared betwixt the two. On the list over at thefreecheese.com/the list, we looked at what was that N64 racing game that Mark added to the list?
Top
Top
Gear
Gear
Rally.
Rally. That one was developed by folks who would later go on to make Metropolis Street Racer on the Dreamcast. Then what goes well with Metropolis, Gotham, Project Gotham Racer, Project Gotham. I'm sorry, Project Gotham Racing, Project Gotham Racing 2. Uh, there's a mini game called Geometry Wars added in that game, and it was so good that the folks at Bizarre Creations spun it out into its own uh, version as a launch title for the Xbox 360.
Oh, okay. I
And then
remember playing Geometry Wars in a Project Gotham. I guess I always thought you had one, but I guess you had two. Uh,
I thought it was one too, but yeah, no.
Interesting. I
According to
always
the
just thought
internet,
this was his own thing. Now, obviously, not being ignorant here, not looking back at the history of the franchise or the IP, but I guess it was. I guess I always thought like, oh, there was asteroids on like Atari. This
right?
probably
Yeah,
came somewhere like in PlayStation or something, and I missed it. And here's two on Xbox 360, Xbox
right,
Live
right.
Arcade.
Yeah, this was
Huh. So
fully
it
spun out.
debuted in PGR 2.
The first one did. Yep,
Huh.
it was an Easter egg mini game
Wild.
in
Okay.
PGR2.
Okay.
You needed to interact with an arcade cabinet in the player's virtual garage.
No, I remember this. I remember. Yeah.
And then
Interesting.
Retro Evolved was the one that was kind of like up-res, ported over to 360. And then there was Xbox Live Arcade on 360. And then Retro Evolve 2 is a full sequel to that that came out 2008 on Xbox 360. This is the one I chose for the podcast this year. Um, Kind of because A, it's the one I had the most experience with back then. B, I had some unfinished business. And C, this one's kind of twofold, but like when we did our console ranking a few years ago, do you remember where we ranked the 360 on our list? It was
I think
high.
was it
I just
high?
don't remember how. I thought it was.
That thing's such a blur. Isn't like the DS or 3DS like one or two?
Let's revisit this. I'll give you the. So 360 was number 6 on our list.
Okay.
GameCube was 5.
Okay.
DS was 4.
Okay.
PlayStation was 3.
Okay.
3DS was 2,
Perfect.
and the PS2 was 1.
Okay.
It's a solid list. That list makes sense. That checks out. Yeah. But in thinking back to that list and thinking back to the Xbox 360, I thought a lot about the games I spent time with on the 360. And one of the first ones I remember, like, really, I don't think it was my first game on 360. I think my first game on 360 was Crackdown. But I think the first thing that I like felt like, oh, was Geometry Wars 2, which I'm just gonna call it that from now on. It just, again, like, to your point of asteroids, like there's something simplistic about this that's a little bit more, and it really was like, how do we reimagine something that was so classic and like approachable, but reimagine it for a new audience with new capabilities, new whatever. I love the fact that it packed in achievements that were a challenge to achieve. Um, the fact that the like Xbox Live Arcade having that sort of like online leaderboard system to be able to challenge your friends, like already you like went for it when
Oh,
you
I
jumped
mean,
in and started playing and then like texted me and you're like, you got some new high scores to chase now. Like it's that. It's exactly what I love out of this game that why I wanted to add this to the list. What so you played the original in PGR2? What other exposure have you had to this series?
just that. I mean, and I that wasn't even like for hours upon hours. I just remember poking around with it. I think it was weird. But honestly, this is probably the most time. And I mean, did I say most? That's just relative. I've only spent honestly, I've only really spent 2 or 3 hours with the game.
But you like that's
Like
the
that,
beauty of this is
yeah.
like
Like, um, so I mean, yeah, I guess this is probably the most I've spent with it. But like, I'm not a stranger to like a twin stick shooter like this either. Like,
yeah.
I've seen these before.
Yeah, and like this so this one you move your character or your ship or your shape with the left stick, with the right stick you shoot unless of course you're playing a game mode where you're not shooting, you're doing something else. Um there's 12 achievements, there's 6 game modes and each of them have kind of different uh rule sets to them. So let's jump into each one real quick. You got Deadline. The goal here is to just score as many points as possible within a 3-minute time period. You have unlimited lives, but of course, every time you die, it slows you down a little bit. Does it reset your multiplier? I don't think it does. I think it
No, it doesn't
just,
reset. What it does like clear the board and it slowly has to like redevelop again. So like yeah, you're like dead for maybe 3 or 4 seconds before you're back on screen and
yeah,
can move. But like you really can't score for about like 8 to 10 seconds.
yeah. Um, so you're really like losing time. You want to stay alive as long as possible, um, and take out everything you can. It's right stick to shoot, and then with the right or left trigger, you can throw a bomb. And the bomb just sort of clears not the entire screen, but it clears a good bit of it. And if you position yourself in the right way, and depending on where the enemies are, you can get kind of a screen clear, but don't bank on it.
Also in
Um,
this mode does not award points though.
it doesn't.
No,
What is this one award?
just you not dying.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I believe it was
There's
this
still a
mode.
score, right?
Oh, in this like for what throwing a bomb?
Oh, you mean bombs don't give you points. I thought you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Got you. I thought you meant deadline itself doesn't
Oh
track
no,
speed.
no, no,
No,
no! You very much
yeah.
get
The
points.
bomb.
No, yeah, but clearing a
Yeah.
screen like it does not like that's like an emergency kind of thing.
Yes, 100%. Um, so the way you rack up points in this is obviously killing enemies, but you're also collecting geoms. These little like every time you destroy an enemy, it shatters into small green little diamonds that have like a 5-second timer on them after
Yeah.
they appear. You just need to fly over them to collect them, and that increases your multiplier. Um, as you progress through each game mode, it unlocks another one. You have to basically spend
I like how they did the unlocking.
a lot, dude. Like, and I forgot about it because it's been however long, like I haven't started a new game in this since 2008 or whatever. But I forgot about that. And yeah, it's really, really nice. Like, you've got to play and like play it for a bit. It's not necessarily time. It's like
No,
score. Did you
it's
figure out a good rhythm?
it was just gonna like I'm gonna say sink time into it, but I think it was just like it may have been on high score, like a total high score, because I like
Yeah, like a
definitely got in
cumulative
and got
score. Yeah.
out, and like I think I increased it by like 1% versus like the ones where I had like a run, and I really saw the percentage bump up.
Yeah. Um, After you get a little bit of the way into Deadline, you unlock King, where you only have one life, you have no bombs, and there are these little circles. So it's three blue circles. You fly into the circle in order to start shooting. You can't shoot if you're outside of it. Nothing can get into the circle. Enemies, but also the geoms. So if you kill an enemy, you can't pick up anything unless you leave the safety of the circle. Um, After a few seconds, those when you fly into a blue circle, it becomes green. After a few seconds, that thing will start flashing red and shrinking, and it'll disappear so a new one can appear somewhere else. But you are kind of just like moving through there to fly into new zones, take out enemies, collect your multipliers, so on and so forth. Um, how about that one? Did you have any?
I liked it. It made you kind of like aware of your surroundings, cause like yeah, the thing turns red and it's almost scary. Like if it collapsed on you, you would die. But like ring isn't what kills you. It's like the fact that enemies can then circulate you a lot easier, and then there's no way to
Yeah,
escape. So I don't know, the
yeah,
way I was playing it, I wasn't like really sitting in a circle. I was more so like flying through circles and like picking off things, maybe sitting in there for like a half second, picking off what I could, and then leaving and just kind of constantly like flowing through the level. It didn't really lend itself to like sit in a circle until red and shrinking, then to leave.
yeah. No, no, yeah. You've got to kind of always be moving. You're just using that for safety, but not entirely. Um, Once you do a bit of that, you unlock evolved. So in this one, you are trying to score as many points as possible with a finite number of lives and bombs, no time limit. At different point increments, so you hit a certain point threshold, you'll unlock another life. This one's very similar to just like the core first game, Geometry Wars Retro Evolved, which that's the one I'd been playing for years on my Xbox. I think I got it on Xbox One and then on Series X, like playing it there. I hadn't picked up two until this season. I was like deliberately waiting until we were doing it on the list to revisit it. But I'd been playing the first one so much that like this mode, as soon as I unlocked it, I'm thinking like, what's new? And I'm like, oh, it's the first game. I got it. Um, Pacifism is a little different. So this one, you have one life and you cannot shoot. So the way that you take out enemies is there's gates in the level, and they're like these little white lines with orange cones on the edges
It
of
almost
them.
looked like bench press, like weights that cap the
Yes,
end
it
of that.
yeah, it
Uh,
looks like that, but it's like white with orange.
yeah, and like, but like you just can't like fly through. You have to go through in a pathway because I mean you can go either direction, but if you run into the quote unquote,
Dumbbell
weights,
for the
yeah,
weight.
yeah,
Yeah,
you'll die. It's like it takes those as an enemy, so you have to kind of go through the middle of them, almost like slalom gates and skiing or
yeah,
something like that. Um,
exactly.
But yeah, when you go through those gates, a little like AOE thing happens, and that AOE will take out everything in its kind of radius that is chasing you. And this is the mode. I think it's anything that's chasing you is all those blue ones that kind of it's
Mhm.
all those like blue squares that like or are they like are they parallelograms or are they squares? I can't remember if they're slanted or not.
They might even be diamonds. They're either diamonds or parallelograms. I think you're yeah. A
Anyway,
parallelogram might be right.
anyway, they're blue. That's an easy way to identify
Yeah,
them in
yeah,
this
yeah.
game. They'll like slowly chase. They'll chase, but they do like slowly, kind of in a way.
Yes.
And so you're like, oh well, three of those that can't be that hard. Well, imagine like 100. That's
Right. Yeah,
when
like
you're almost it almost gets into this thing like you'll see I'm pulling like all the references now. Like Call of Duty Zombies, like a really good fucking Call of Duty Zombies player will just pull all the zombies and just kind of go in this circle and
mhm.
just slowly pick off when they turn the corner or something like that. If you get really good at this, that's essentially what you're doing and kind of making little um little alternates to your path to hit a gate to get some of the enemy off of you. Um, yeah, it's really I don't know. It's definitely unique because you like aren't shooting in a twin stick shooter,
Mm-mm.
but it's still fun. I think of like of some of these. I think this was one of my more favorite ones,
I agree. Yeah, I
despite
really, really like this
not
one.
having like a twin stick.
Yeah, and the core, like what you're used to doing in this game, you're suddenly not doing. But yeah, I really like this mode. You because it's cool. Like you'll get like where Matt's talking about the like hundreds of these things coming. Like they spawn from each corner of the map too, and you're like the gameplay map is just like a big rectangular screen, right? Like, and you kind of can't see the full playing field, and like the camera's moved in just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
so you kind of always have some edges to find, so you're not always seeing where things spawn in, but like yeah, the blue ones will they'll come in from corners and just kind of pop in, and yeah, it gets overwhelming very quickly. uh Next you unlock waves, so you have one life, and you have to you're basically you're experiencing like waves of enemies coming in. Predominantly, it's all maybe is it only the orange like plane enemies, or
I think it starts to incorporate stuff if you last long enough.
I thought so too. Yeah.
It's just more so
Um.
the floating one. So which ones float? Like the first two, like enemies. It's like an X and a circle. I think. Are they the ones that kind of just like
The
float around? They don't
oh,
really like
like the
pursue
purple like
you.
fan.
Yeah, they don't like pursue you. They just kind of like float in the direction. If they hit a wall and bounce back or something. Um,
Yeah.
I think they'll eventually come around. But this is where, like, so you were just saying last time for pacifism, where like you can't always see like the entire board. There's always like a side or a corner you can't
Yeah.
see. This is the
Yeah.
game that fucks you the most on it because, um, again, one of the enemy types that you get mixed into like Deadline and King, those first two modes we talked about, it's these orange rocket ships, and they'll go in a straight line, either horizontally or vertically, and they'll just kind of like stay in their lane. They never like deviate from the line. You go up, you go to the wall, turn around, then come right back down, rinse and repeat until dead, essentially.
Yep.
But what this mode does, and you'll start to see this as you get higher in some of the other modes as well, because you kind of when you in the other modes you see like one, and then it kind of starts to like build the army of them side by side. This just starts with the army. So like
Yeah.
half of this box, like they'll spawn in at the bottom line, and then they'll go up. And depending on where you are, like you can easily move like left and out of the way, but it's probably in your
Right.
best interest to kind of shoot through to start to make some holes for you to kind of stay stationed. Because what's probably happening that you can't see off screen is to the left, more of those ships are coming, and
Yes.
then you have to kind of shoot through them, and then it just starts overlapping where you get wave after wave, and then as time goes along, and like not just like 5 minutes, like 20 seconds, you start getting waves that take up the entire like right line or left line or bottom line. Like you have to shoot a gap or you die. And then it's
Yep.
not just like one of these at a time. It's like that's the fifth wave, and you're still kind of dealing with wave one is still going back and forth as you're trying to move around because wave two or three forced you into a
Yeah.
weird spot with wave one, and then wave
And
four is
but
coming
now
from
like
that
wave
corner.
6
Yeah.
is using the same pattern as wave 1 on a different timing, so you're
Yes.
kind of like
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, it's all of these different horizontal lines just like attacking you. Yeah, that one's a weird one, but another one that's a lot of fun uh, to navigate through. And then finally, you unlock sequence, which this one is these sort of game modes that are preset, like just maps, so to speak. Like, obviously, everything else has patterns to it, but depending on kind of how you move and whatever, some things can be a bit random or feel a bit random. Like in waves, you sort of get to the point where, like, you know exactly while you can't see that like wave two is going to come from up here, you know it because you've played it enough that you know that's what's coming. Sequences specifically like these designed curated experiences, and it's 30 of them. It's like 5 rows of six, I think. I forget.
20 levels, 30
20.
seconds.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Right. So 4 5s. That's what
Mm-hmm.
it is. Um, yeah, you have 30 seconds per level to clear the board. You've got to kill every enemy. If you do, you get a is it a green check?
Green check.
Yeah, green check, and you move on to the next one in the sequence. If you fail, you lose a life, you get a red X, and you have a finite number of lives. So if you miss too many, then you're out. The goal is to make it to the end of the 30, completing each wave. Um, you don't necessarily need to pass all of them. You just need to stay alive and not lose all of your lives to get through all of them. Did you make it to the end of the 30?
No, this will be the thing. If like I go back to it, this will be the thing I chase. I feel like I
Yeah.
got either end of like third row or beginning fourth, and
Yeah.
I lost it.
Yeah, that was like the furthest I'd gotten was somewhere around there. Um, I don't think I don't think I did it back in the day either because I don't think I had that achievement. But yeah, this barring the achievements, I think you're right. This is the one where it's like I there's something to do here. The one thing we haven't talked about, we mentioned it a little bit, some of these enemy types, but um, just to elaborate a bit on them, you do have the blue diamond parallelogram. You have a purple fan that just sort of like does its thing and spins around and whatever. Um, you have the what is it, the green square or green diamond, and that one when shot runs away from you. So if you shoot in its direction, it does what it can to avoid your shots. So you kind of have to like shoot where it's going and not where it is, kind of thing. Um, you've got the orange planes, and then you have there's the snakes with the tails. They have like blue heads and orange tails, and they just sort of like do whatever they want to do. They're very all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then old red circle, which when you shoot the red circle, it starts to like react to your shot and create sort of a gravity field, and it'll pull other enemies into it. And when it explodes, it'll take them out. So that's actually a good approach. Try and corner a bunch of things. And that some of them, like some of the levels in sequence, kind of require you to use those circles to your advantage as much as you can. Um, Across all of those, do you have a favorite? We both like pacifism. Was there another one that you feel like this is my one?
Um, I like the challenge of sequence, and it was always fun. Like I define fun, but like trying to get the run. Like that first row,
Mm-hmm.
if you're halfway decent in the game, you should get through untouched. However, there was always like a mental mistake, and he would fuck up like one early, and it's like, all right, well, how can I carry this on
Yeah.
to like the next thing, and just kind of keep going. Um, I like the idea of king with no bombs, just like, oh no, sorry, just evolved. Um, I thought it did. Sorry, I liked evolved and just like the that's kind of like that combination of like survival and
Mm-hmm.
scoring, because yeah, you have lives and bombs that aid you, but if you are calculating and can save your lives and kind of slowly tick up with that multiplayer or a multiplier, you can get a life, and the lives start at 100,000 points, and then each new life and bomb come 10x from that score. So it would be 100,000, 1,000,000, 10,000,000, so on and so forth. Um, and so, yeah, I kind of like that one because that was the one that might be the biggest time sink besides sequence. But they were played a
Yeah.
little bit of strategy of like, do I just try to survive at this rate? Do I start really trying to chase all the geomes, or
Yeah.
gome or whatever they're called, to like get that multiplier? Do I, there's shit going on over here. Did I pull that bomb fast enough because I'm about to die? Like, there's stuff like that. Yeah, so I just like, I mean, it's more like traditional, probably, mode amongst all of them, but still a fun one.
Is there one you hated?
I'm not good at deadline. I could not. That
Oh,
was like the
really?
one like not that I was trying to like beat all your highest scores, but like having those there, it
Yeah.
was like, oh, I have like a North Star to aim for kind of thing. And like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
ones, like I could see myself getting better, and then like one of those runs that felt like, oh, that went better than it had been. I would see like my score kind of like next to yours. I'm like, all right, well, okay, I can kind of keep going and get there. But deadline
Yeah.
was the one I was always like, even on my best runs, I was a million away. I didn't
Oh,
know.
wow.
I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. If I was over aggressive, if I wasn't aggressive enough beginning on the multiplier, if it, dying too
Yeah, yeah.
much. Although I felt like sometimes I didn't die enough, but then maybe I wasn't aggressive enough. I don't know. That was like the one I don't think I didn't hate it. I just couldn't like figure
Crack
out
it.
the strategy to really get the high score thing going.
I should have grabbed a screenshot to see which of my. So, one of the things I wanted to do in this game is there were achievements I never completed on my old 360 account. And I don't have access to that account anymore. Phil Spencer won't let me log into it because it's to a dead email that I'm not going to be able to get into. I wonder if I could actually. Anyway, I but I have that account added as a friend, so I can at least like stalk my old self and see whatever, and I can make up for it. And I remember the the achievements. I remembered the wax on and wax off achievements, and I remember going after those so heavily back in the day. And I thought I'd gotten them both, but in revisiting this, I never got wax off on my old account. So I was trying really hard to go through and at least like match myself 1 to 1 on getting all the achievements and then trying to beat my high scores. And now I don't remember if I did beat my high score in Deadline. So like Deadline, I might have had like a really good high score in my old account and didn't actually beat it in this one. There were a few where I like saw myself getting close, and when I didn't get it, I didn't rush back in because I was like, I'll let my former self have the glory on that one. There were others where I was like, I don't know, I must not have played that mode that much on my old account because I had like 1.2 million and this time I got like 4. You know what I mean? Like I like really blew myself out of the water or whatever. But um, did you chase any of the achievements in this game?
I never really looked at it. I figured if I came back to it before recording, just the schedule got out of hand on me.
Yeah,
Um, but no, I figured one would like sequence would be like my main objective.
yeah.
And then two, maybe then go peek at the achievements to see like what was there. But there was like one, like, and now I have it pulled up. I remember, maybe I did look. Oh, you know where I looked at these? I looked at them in game.
Oh yeah, because they have that in the main
Yeah, that's
menu.
where I looked at these. So like I saw the one like phobia where it was like score 1,000 points and waves without collecting any geomes, and it's like how do you even do that? Like, do I just stand like? So like
No,
I
you
don't
gotta
know.
move.
Yeah, it was just what some of those were just like I don't even know how to do that. So like I don't
It
know.
so I chased a bunch of them. I got so here's the achievements I don't have. I didn't get Smile, Game Over, or Treaty. So Smile is the description of it is 2, 4, 11, 15, 17, 18, and
Is
19.
that sequence?
So in sequence, you've got to, I think, either pass or fail those
Hmm.
numbers so that you draw a smile on the board. Game Over is reaching the end of sequence. And then Treaty is in King. You need to go through 30 zones without firing a shot or destroying any enemies. I've made it to 28 and I cannot get it at all. I'm so close, but I can't get it. It's so because the more time you spend, the more enemies spawn and they completely cover those circles. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
like it's so hard to like get out into another safety zone. You really got to like time things right. Um the one I finally got this time that I never got way back when was Wax Off, where you in pacifism, which this one is you can take out enemies. You don't need to like not kill enemies, which is nice. But remember, for the listener, if you're not remembering pacifism, that's the one where you can only take out enemies with the slaloms. So, or the gates, whatever they are. Uh, in this mode, you need to push your ship up against the edge and just rub your ship across each of the four walls in the arena. So if you do that once around, wax on, you have to do it a second time for wax off. And that part, like, I never got it. And even the other day, I told myself I was doing it for like probably 15 or 20 minutes. And I was like, all right, because as you once you start going to a certain point, it pops up at the bottom and it'll say like wax on achievement progress. And it'll show you you're like 15% because you've
Oh,
gotten a little
interesting.
bit.
Okay.
When you get halfway through, it'll show 50%. You're like, okay, great, I got this. I'm gonna keep going. When you get there, you're like 100%. Once you get the wax on achievement and you start a fresh game in pacifism and you start trying for wax off, you get to like the like maybe almost half of having wax on done, and it pops up wax off achievement progress, and it'll give you like whatever, half of the half is, and you make it all the way around and you're at 50%. I would get it to the point where I had like 80, 90, and just like you just get overwhelmed and you die. And there was one shot where I was like, all right, this is my last one, and I'm gonna go play Doom or something else or whatever. And I did it. Like the one time I told myself this is the last try, I got it. I got the achievement. I was like so stoked. Redemption of my former self finally got there. Um yeah, the one for uh not collecting any gems, you just need to basically like kill, I think it ends up being like 100 enemies, I guess, because I think you get 10 points per, something like that. But yeah, you just need to shoot the waves and stay far away from the gems so they don't get sucked into your ship. The other one that's fun in waves is dodging 8 lines of them without firing a
Mm-hmm.
shot or destroying enemies. That one becomes crazy because, like we talked about, right? Like Matt described, you've got to get really good at taking out some of those lines as they start overlapping and flying in. In this achievement, you can't do any of that. You've got to just avoid combat at all costs. That one's fun. Um, and then is there another one that's like weird and fun like that? Oh, rebound. So using the gates, you have to shoot at the gate and destroy like if you're ricocheting your shots to shoot other enemies. You do that in deadline mode, but yeah, that it works really well. It's cool. I was happy to do that. Happy to chase some high scores again. And yeah, this is one where like just like the first game, having that on my Xbox over the last, I don't know, 8 years or so, having an Xbox One to now the Series X, like I will always keep this one installed now that I've got it. And just like if I'm ever in that in between where like, what am I gonna do? Like I'll just dive into this because I think that it does that stuff really well.
Yeah, this is one of
Um,
those perfect games where it's like, oh man, like right now, like I'm playing something for the podcast. Well, I guess the summer schedule's up. I can say like
yeah,
Deus
yeah,
Ex.
yeah,
Like I played Deus Ex, playing Doom,
yeah,
and then right around the corner we're gonna have like Mario Kart and stuff like that. Like all those like time sinks, like right, like you want to probably spend like at least a half an hour. Well, especially Doom, like most levels are like about an hour for me, and then Deus
yeah,
Ex is
yeah,
his own beast. But like, but like Mario Kart World, I really don't see me spending less than 30 minutes in that open world or doing whatever in that
yeah,
game. But like this is like that perfect game where it's like less than 30 minutes. Before you got to do something, you want to do something, there's something you want to chase or whatever. I think this is great. And then like if you have friends and leaderboards, I think that makes it, better. But I have fun just chasing my own like personal high
oh yeah,
scores and some of that stuff as I was trying to crouch up to you. And then like I said, sequence, like I don't think that's something anyone's gonna get like anytime in their first few attempts. I think you're going to take some time
oh yeah,
memorizing those patterns, especially those early ones that you see all the time, so that way you can keep your lives and your bombs for probably when you need them the most towards the bottom two
yeah,
rows. Um,
yeah,
and then, yeah, honestly, I mean, of the 6 modes for a twin stick shooter, there's just a variety of gameplay That like even if I got bored of something, I just jump to the next game.
Yeah.
Like they play different enough, and they make you think in different ways. Where like yeah, the same enemy, same game, same. I mean, the soundtrack might change depending on the mode, but like it's a different experience and it flexes like a different muscle that the game requires, which is cool. So like when I was high score chasing all your stuff, like I wasn't just chasing on the same mode until like I got it. I would like chase like 3 or 4 times, try something else, and then go there 3 or 4 times, like let's go back here. I'm ready for sequence again after failing 5 times in a row at the same stage. And then I failed the same stage twice. And like, okay, that's bad. Then I was getting close over here. And yeah, so I don't know. I think there's a variety for this being what it is. There is a variety of modes and like strategy and methods here. And then also like you said the achievement chasing. I mean, like most games, any trophy list usually makes you play differently, forces you to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's just another wrinkle to the making you think about this game different.
Yeah. This is like a perfect Saturday afternoon game to me where like you've already spent a bunch of time that day playing something and you're like transitioning into your evening. Like maybe you're going to switch something, maybe whatever, but like I don't really want to put the controller down. I'm just going to play something for like 5 minutes or like you can do a level, you can just kind of slip in and out.
Or your significant others finish getting ready, you're all the way done. As soon as she says ready to go, you can turn it off and leave, and
Yep.
she was gonna take 25 minutes.
Right, exactly. Right. But you still don't have your shoes on either, so don't forget that part because that's
Oh, no worries there. They get on real quick. Slip-ons.
done and done. Um, I want to talk briefly about the look of this game. It's something where I I fired this up now and I expected it to be a little like washed out or a little whatever and like it is still so crisp. Like
Looks
it looks
great.
so good. I was like truly shocked.
It's almost painful to see like the Xbox 360 stuff pop up because
Yeah.
it's
It's a
such a
stark like
contrast.
yeah, it's weird. But this game like looks so good. The shapes all look so good. The colors pop on the screen. Like it's really, really impressive.
And for
Um,
like, I mean, yeah, you're gonna lose stuff every once in a while, but for the visual chaos that's happening, you can usually decipher what's going on. Or if you die, you're like,
yeah,
oh, I should have, like you bite, like kind of like you bite that
yeah,
finger
yeah,
right
yeah.
away, and like I should have saw that.
Yeah, it's not always like uh, it, sometimes a random spawn can hurt you, but like there's enough tells and stuff, and there's enough space on the screen where yeah, it's readable.
Yeah, I mean, like some
The
some bullet hells. I mean, I'm just talking even like the top down or side scrolling ones.
yeah,
Like some
yeah,
of those, like you can just kind of lose everything. But
yeah,
no, and there can be a lot going on at one time on a screen. It's I'm not gonna say easy enough, but you should be able to see what's going on if once you kind of develop that sharper eye.
yeah.
Also,
Sound wise,
soundtrack's great.
yeah,
Fucking love it. That's a
so
bop.
good. Really good music. I also really like a lot of the sound effects are just so well done and like they're just
Mm-hmm.
like inherent to your experience. Like little things like easy tells of like when your shield disengages or like when you completely die and lose a round. Like there's these little triggers that happen that all just sort of make sense. Um,
Yeah, it's got like that. It doesn't quite lean into it all the way, but it has like that. Obviously, if you see the aesthetic of this game, it's like a techno like high
mhm.
beat, but it kind of has that similar stuff to like a Hotline soundtrack, especially the ones that have a little bit of a
Yes.
bop to them.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Geometry Wars Retro Evolve 2 before we rank it?
It is. I mean, it's a simple package. It's in terms of what they're offering. Now, granted, we didn't play the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, we didn't do
You
that.
can't play online probably, and local we just didn't do.
I bet you can play online.
Okay, well you could play
But
online,
yeah,
but yeah, we didn't do
yeah,
any of that. Borrowing that, but like there's just 6 modes, and it's a twin stick shooter, and it's like simplistic, but it's not. There's like a high learning curve to it. For it being like this small of a package, there's legs here, and like the
yeah,
perfect like arcade sense of like I could spend 20 minutes at this cabinet, be happy, walk away, then be itching to play like a week later, or when I revisit that arcade, that might be like one of the first like top three machines I would go to, in that kind of like sense.
yeah.
Or it's that
And
beach
it's
boardwalk cabinet you yearn for every summer.
exactly right. Like it's got that. Like it's definitely. I really hate the Xbox dashboard because you can only pin one group at a time. But like if I could pin like a group and just have like my forever games of just like things that are always going to be on this console that I'm always going to come back to, this was like top of that list.
Oh, Joe, just imagine if you could scroll to the game section, scroll down, find a folder that you labeled arcade, and you open it up and see all your games in it. X did
Mm.
give it to you.
They did at one point. Yeah, so be right alongside Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, and I don't know what else. Um, but yeah, I'm happy we got to revisit this one. I've never played three. There's a third one that I want to check out. It was not the same studio. It got handed off to Lucid Games, who I think you would recognize Lucid
I was like, they
Games.
sound familiar.
I believe they're defunct now.
Oh, I
Lucid
just
was
saw
founded by.
Jedi Survivor.
Oh yeah, no, they're still around.
Oh, they made that game. Oh, that's okay.
I assume you've seen Destruction All Stars on their
Yeah,
Wikipedia page. Yeah.
that game had potential though.
No, Lucid's good. Lucid also made one called Jacob Jones and the Bigfoot Mystery. It was a Vita game. Well, the
Oh, I
first
think I remember you talking about
episode was on
this,
Vita.
or it's something.
They were cool. Um, but yeah, so Lucid was apparently from X Bizarre Creations team members. They opened it up after Bizarre shut down. So it made sense that they would take over Geometry Wars with Geometry Wars 3 Dimensions. But yeah, I never played that one. It came out on a bunch of different platforms, including Vita, I think. I might be wrong. No, it was on Vita. Okay, I'm not crazy. But yeah, haven't played it yet. Well, it's time we rank this thing. Geometry Wars 2, that is, I should say. Um, if you're listening, we have our whole list over on the freecheese.com/the list. If you're watching, got it on the screen for you. We've been switching things up here. If you're a longtime listener, you'll remember where we both just sort of like throw out like I don't know, I'm feeling this. But of late, we've been leading with we each come into the episode knowing kind of exactly where we think we might sort of kind of want to rank it. The
Sorry,
the
my.
only surprise is
All right, we're good.
who's gonna go first.
We're good. I don't care. I'll throw out my number.
Yeah, what do you got?
Um, I mean, I think this is a good game. I'm just like I know we said it has legs, but just how much legs when it comes to the top. So I have it as our new 36 between Ape Escape and Parasite Eve.
Okay. You got it there. All right. I went with 66.
Oh,
Not that it's a bad game, but I put it between NBA Street and Advanced Buster Hawk Glay Lancer. I think Street's a stronger package, but I think I like this over Glaylancer. Um, but man, I'm open to climb if you want to meet somewhere
Yeah, what
in
did I
between
look
these
at?
two.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I mean, not that I thought I was gonna go there, but I was kind of looking for. I started at the top to just kind of see like what's like my absolute like ceiling, and I started at Res Infinite, and I was like, this game's not better than Res Infinite, and
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
fair.
started going down, and
Yeah.
then yeah, like what I've kind of been saying, where I start to kind of see more games where I'm like, I think it's better than this than not. Kind of landed me around
Hmm.
36. Well,
Hmm.
sorry, I guess 30,
Yeah.
37, bumping Ape Escape down.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oof.
Uh,
I did a similar thing where I think the first thing I saw on the list that like I started low. I don't think because I thought this game was low. I think because when I opened up the list, it was already low.
hmm,
And I just started scrolling, and the first thing I hit where I was like, "Oh, it feels really good to be right above this," was Power Slave. And when I got above Power Slave, I was like, "Well, this is better than Glaylancer." And then I got to NBA Street, and I was like, "Is it better?" And I was like, "Well, maybe, but it's not better than Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, or is it?" Now I'm looking at it, I think it is. But maybe it's not better than SSX Tricky, but maybe it is.
I'm say there's like kind of two games right there that I'm like, Mario Kart and Metal Gear, but Metal Gear is
I
such an
know.
outlier at this point. Mario Kart is more the benchmark.
Yeah.
I think the like just the it's fun and it's fun that I know I can have in 15 minutes and get kind of what I want out of that game. And I that's like the thing that drove me like to like kind of go up the list. Like I
I'm
make
good with it up there.
I
I'm just,
joke. I like to make my joke about Tokyo Jungle, how that game doesn't actually begin in the first minute when you begin your run. So that's a minute wasted that I
yeah,
could have spent in a third
e-
of
exactly.
unlimited or whatever the mode is. The first one we talked about. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like all these like approach of this. Yeah, that quick in, quick out. Um, I will say though, I looking at some of the stuff kind of below like Def Jam, I kind of like another zone I struggle kind of to come up from you to get through. Where like
Yeah.
I think it's better Resident Evil 5, but like Dino Crisis it's a weird
I know.
arcade game. A Return to Castle Wolfenstein I like a lot. Metroid Other M is an unrated gem. Um, and I mean Zone of the Under is just a weird game, but Def Jam is the weird wrestling game that that game should not exist. That's kind of
No.
um.
No.
So yeah, I kind of struggle to get it up from there. That's so maybe I do kind of come back down to like the 40s, like I don't know.
I like it where you had it.
I kind of do too.
Let's do it.
Like I said, like you're not just picking up and playing Dino Crisis 2. Like, sorry, you're
No.
not picking up and playing
No, no,
Metroid
no.
Other M. You're not picking up and playing Phasmophobia. Not doing a Luigi's Mansion. Definitely not
Not
Ring
like this
Fit.
at least.
No. Ring Fit. You take fucking. You could have probably played all 6 game modes by the time you prep. Make sure your Joy Cons are charged. You get your thigh wrap strapped up.
Yeah, dude.
You stretch. Don't forget stretch. You always gotta stretch with booting that
Well,
game.
it's baked right into the experience, you know? And everyone should be stretching anyway.
um.
I locked it in already.
Oh, I'm on the web
Done.
site, so I can't see it.
No, yeah. I
Did you come all the way up, or did we find middle ground somewhere?
ah, I came all the way up. I'm with you. 37. Geometry Wars,
Okay.
Retro Evolve 2. Above Ape Escape, below Parasite Eve. Killing it. Oh wow. I realized I screwed something up on a bunch of our. We're all good. Everything's good.
Okay.
I just forgot to click drag some formula stuff here. There we go. We're covered. Congratulations to Geometry Wars Retro Evolve 2. You're the 37th best game right now. Will you be dethroned in 2 weeks? No, actually, I know you won't because we're not ranking the game for a little bit.
I was
Actually,
gonna say we don't have a game to rank, right?
no, we got a little bit of a break from ranking. I think the
Yeah.
next game that'll get ranked
Yeah. Oh,
is
little mini pivot behind the scenes. We won't share the magic sauce
yeah,
behind the scenes, but small pivot.
yeah. Next week, however, we got our hands on a Nintendo Switch 2, so it's time to close out the chapter of the Switch 1 and embrace the new era that we're in now. So come back and hang out with us then. Spend some time with us. And I share your experiences with Switch 2. If you want to share your experiences with Switch 2, do that now. Drop them in the email podcast at thefreecheese.com. Chat, or not chat. What do you call those things, Matt? Comments.
Oh
Or
no.
what those are called. Um, Also, if you're listening to this in the week that it goes up, we're doing 2 live streams this month over there on twitch.tv/thefreecheese. So this Friday night, to celebrate Friday the 13th, we are revisiting Friday the 13th on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
I was gonna say
So come and hang out.
make sure you emphasize.
Yes, yeah, we're doing the good one. We'll be streaming that one out. And then later this month, we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of one of the best films and one of the best video games based on that film, Batman Forever. We'll be back on Sunday the 22nd with that one. So
Man, that's
all that fun stuff.
loose terms saying great.
Good terms. Those are coming up. Everything's on the website, thefreecheese.com. Until then, thanks for hanging out with us. And thank you, Matt, as always. We'll see you next week. Bye.